Hello, my name is OFER SEGAL, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Kineticann. Kineticann is a food tech company that specializes in cannabis and other unique materials. I want to talk to you a little bit about taking a substance like cannabis and putting it into food. And first two questions comes to mind. Why should we put cannabis in our foods, or why would we put cannabis in our foods? And this is a question that not that I have thought about. It's a question that I was asked by many large food companies that came up to me and told me, all right, so you have cannabis, why should I put it into a food? And I want to tackle first the question of why should we? So why should we even put anything else in our foods? I want to talk a little bit about functional foods. What are functional foods? Functional foods are any type of food that we are consuming not only for the purpose of nutrition, but for other purposes, for health issues, for wellness, better living. And in those, we can see animal-based functional foods or plant-based. We know that we have in our fruits a lot of nutritional properties that also help with health issues. Everybody knows that garlic is good for lowering your blood pressure. And of course, we know that omega-3 helps with memory, and a lot of other substances coming from nature are helping us to get better living. And that's functional food. Functional food is a way to consume your food and do something else as well. So understanding that, we know that today we're using probiotics, we're using herbs and other compounds in our foods, vitamins, minerals, and of course, all the trend of proteins and healthy substitutes. These are all things that we are taking from nature, bringing them into our foods and making them into functional foods. So again, why cannabis? And I want to persuade you that cannabis is a superfood. In order to understand why cannabis is a superfood, I want to talk about a few things. First, about the endocannabinoid system. This is a system that each one of us has in our body, something that was discovered back in the early 90s by Professor Raphael Meshulam. He learned that in our body there is a system that matches one-to-one with the molecules that are present in cannabis. Those molecules are called cannabinoids, and in our body there is an endocannabinoid system. This endocannabinoid system has impact on other systems in our body, such as our skin, blood, and many others. So first of all, if we have in our body something like that, then probably the human beings as animals are supposed to consume this type of molecules, this type of plants. Now, we already learned that cannabis has many medicinal attributes. We know today that there are drugs based on cannabinoids. There are also drugs based on terpenoids. And this is something that is just scratching the surface with our understanding. But we're getting more and more data day to day about what medicinal purposes cannabis can get to us. Second is better health attributes. And I'll talk about that with better wellness attributes. So better sleep. I think a lot of you know that CBD can enhance sleep, something that was tested in quite a lot of labs today. But did you know that CBD can also help with a recovery of muscle tissue after workout? So CBD can do that. And of course, with other cannabinoids, CBG, CBN, all of them carry a very unique and important impact on our body. So this is the should. This is to get us to understand why we should. But all right, we got the should right. Why would we? why would we take cannabis and put it in our foods? In order to understand the wood, I'll tackle a few questions. First of all, is regulations. So basically, we would take cannabis, yeah, it's good for us, but only if it's allowed. And then we're talking about two types of regulations. First of all, cannabis regulations, yeah. Is it allowed or not allowed? It's allowed in the United States. Is it? Federally, not. But if you're looking state by state, some of them it's allowed, some of them not. How is the regulations in Thailand? What's going on in Europe? What is the Novel Food Act for cannabis? So first of all, we need to understand what's the regulations. And once we understand that, cannabis talks today only about dosing. How much can we take? But since we're going to consume it, we need to think and talk about food regulations, FDA regulations, CE regulation, EFSA. Every country carries its own regulation for food. You cannot take something out of the nature, put it in your body, consume it without having some sort of match to the common regulations. So we would use our cannabis only if we understand that both food and cannabis regulations are in line. Second, food safety. Should we give this substance to children, to elderly? How do we know that this is a food safe product? And when we're talking about food safety, we have to understand about consistency. We have to talk about dosing, things like non-GMO, non-allergens. These are the items that will provide us with the certainty that the food that we are eating is good for us. It's safe for us. After understanding safety, let's talk a little bit about technology. And when I'm talking about technology, first of all, is what is the technology that we are using? How is that technology giving us any benefits? And today we can understand that through technology, we can control the release of the active materials in our body. Through technology, we can answer to different consumer trends, less sugars, less fat, things like that. We do that with food technology. So understanding these basic three woods would put us in a safe place. Yeah. So I should use cannabis wood. For sure, I can do that. But if nobody tells us how to do that, if nobody pushes a button of telling us, yeah, it's good for us, so maybe I will know it's good for me, a few of you will know, but it would take the big companies to come and tell us, yes, cannabis can be in food and cannabis is good for you, for the majority of the population or the global population to understand and to start using cannabis in our foods. I want to give you an example how that's done. And let's talk about Coca-Cola. I call it the Coca-Cola effect. Santa Claus was green. That was Santa Claus color. And years ago, Coca-Cola started with an edition of Coca-Cola for Christmas. And doing that, they presented the new Santa. And this Santa was red. Any child will tell you today that the color of Santa is red. That's the power of big companies. And if we want to see cannabis in our day-to-day foods helping us, we would need those big companies to come and influence and do their impact. Last in the wood section is taste and fragrance. So I was talking to one of the major officers in a well-known beverage company. And the first thing he asked me, does it taste good? Because we all know that CBD, THC, they're bitter, they don't taste good. And the second thing he said, look, if it doesn't taste good, I don't care what it does, don't bring it to me. Because if we want to have something that we know that is good for us, it must also be tasty. That's how the food industry works. So this is a small introduction, a small lecture talking about, okay, we have this new substance, we have cannabis, we have the molecules, CBD, THC, CBD, and CBG. We know they're good for us. We now understand that we should consume them, and we would consume them. And now maybe to understand a little bit what we are doing in order to bring it in the best manner to you. So this is kineticann. Kineticann is cannabis food tech. I'll let you in on a little secret. We're not only cannabis food tech, we are a food tech company dealing with a lot of ingredients. And we are taking those unique ingredients, those unique molecules that the food industry does not know how to work with, and we're bringing them into foods in the best manner, both regulatory-wise, safety-wise, and of course, optimization. And let me explain a little bit about how we do that. I think this is the most important slide that usually when I talk to people, I try to explain what it is that we do. When we develop a new ingredient, and this is what kineticann does, it develops and manufactures food ingredients that are based on unique compounds, mostly cannabinoids and terpenoids. We're working at three-level development. First level, we call it the technological formulation. What is technological formulation? We are basically taking an oily substance, a fatty molecule, and we're introducing that into water medium. In order to get it into water medium, or what we know as water soluble, first of all, we need to use both technology and both formulation. So would we put it in this machine or that machine? Would we do with that emulsifier or with that type of starch? What would be the best combination in order to get it? So let's say this guy that wants to make cookies would come up to me and tell me, yeah, I want to put CBD in my cookies. Will I take my CBD, develop it into an emulsion, put it into the water and mix it with the flour? How would I control it when the temperature rises to 180 degrees in the oven? Should I put it as a powder and put it in my flour? Maybe I should sprinkle it at the end of the process. These are the questions we tackle. We have different solutions for different categories of food, whether it's heated or carbonated beverages, high or low pH, using different sugars. All of that is things we need to tackle in order to get some answers about our safety, about our quality, about the food and beverage standards, and of course, about the regulations. Second level, and that's the most important level for us, is optimization of active materials. So in order to get the best out of our substance, out of our cannabinoids, we are having some sort of process that optimizes the use. And when I'm saying optimizes, I want to control a few things: the bioavailability, the release, and the consistency. So in this manner, we're talking about, or in this level, we're talking about one of our ideas, which is to be patented soon. And that's how to control. And control, I'm talking about seconds, minutes, hours. I'm not saying it's fast, it's slow. I'm telling you it's 10 minutes or it's half an hour. How do I control when the active material will start affecting? How much time will it stay in our body? And I'm controlling it to the best of what I need. So if that cookie guy wants a cookie for getting better sleep, I would say, okay, I want the guy that is having the cookie to take it 1 hour before going to bed, and I want it to be active in his bloodstream for at least 5 or 6 hours so he gets a good night's sleep. This is control. This is things that we are doing, manipulating the molecules in order to pass in the right manner our intestines and work in our bloodstream at the proper manner. When we're talking about consistency, so the food industry has to have consistency. I mean, you like your coffee, you like the specific brand, whether it's now in half a year or in a different country, it has to taste the same. Or take Nutella, for instance. Everybody knows Nutella. Everybody loves Nutella. But what is Nutella? We taste Nutella, usually we would taste the sugar and our eyes would see the very known jar, and yeah, that's Nutella for us. But when we're talking about cannabis, we cannot do those tricks. We cannot use flavoring. So our company developed a formulation that is based on terpenoids that are coming from other plants, mango, lavender, and lemon, in order to create consistency for the cannabinoids. Last in our level of development is the function. So we can have different functions. We can talk about sleeping, we can talk about muscle recovery, we can talk about pain, inflammation. And I just want to take you into one example. Today, our company, with another company in Israel, is working on restorations or recovery of muscles after workout. When we work out, basically we tear our muscles, and now after our body starts to recover. We saw a specific blend of cannabinoids and terpenoids that when we bring it into our muscles, we are getting a faster recovery. We saw that the muscle tissue is recovering very fast. So this is basically one of the functions and one of the way we work with functions. So this is all our development. This is what we are doing. What we are doing is either making emulsions or powders. We are talking about emulsions that are just oil in water. We're encapsulating in different ways our fatty molecules using our emulsifiers and getting to the best result we need. Of course, we can then get it into powders either by spray drying or granulation or freeze drying. And in this manner, we can get also taste and odor masking, so we get exactly the taste that we want, exactly the smell that we want, and we can decrease the strong taste of bitterness, metallic, salty, and things like that. More important is when we encapsulate and when we get our fatty molecules into water phase, then we get better bioavailability. And I'm talking about from 5 to 10% of active materials in your blood consuming oil. You can get up to 40 to 50% using an emulsion such as the ones we are developing. That's it. That's our little way of contributing to cannabis and bringing cannabis not only as a medicinal, very important substance, but to our everyday foods. Thank you very much.